Hey guys, I'm excited to bring you a bonus episode. This will be a standalone, so it won't be part of the regular episode. But I had an opportunity to do something pretty damn cool, and I jumped on it, and I know you guys are going to appreciate it. So, on the line with me, I have former star linebacker from the University of Kentucky and star linebacker in the NFL for various teams, but primarily, I'll always know you as a Tennessee Titan, even though you went to Pittsburgh and the Jets for a while. But I have to say, Avery, first of all, thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
And second of all, I'm a big Indianapolis Colts fan, so I hate every team that you played for, basically. but I always rooted for you.
Yep, all AFC teams I went to. At
so
least you
so
root.
Avery, let me ask you a couple quick questions. I want to first go with you were drafted in 2014 by the Titans.
Yes,
I,
sir.
if I remember correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were the 151st overall pick.
Yep.
So pretty
You
impressive. Tell me what you loved about playing college football, and tell me what your first year in the NFL was like with the transition.
What I loved about college football, um, well, I'm trying to think, man, because it was look when I was in Kentucky, we didn't have a lot of success. So
No, they were a couple of 2-10 seasons, I think, your junior and senior year.
it was it was fun. I mean, just the college and life in general, it was fun. I mean, I was first time being away from home. I felt like I was grown and kind of doing my thing. I thought I had life figured out. But I mean, overall, I had a fun time in college, and it was pressure. You had to always keep your grades up. I made sure I played well, but I mean, overall, it just was kids being kids. And it was a good time. So I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, I wish we won more games, but I mean, other than that, hey, that was my mark on Kentucky. But it was fun playing it, in the college level, and then professionals. I mean, it's a whole nother level. You come from eating noodles and stuff out the cafeteria to going and you eating steak, every weekend. When you travel, so it's like, hey, you got money in your pocket. You got a full off season. I never had a full just time on my hands. Like we didn't make the playoffs my rookie year, so January, like you started a whole off season of 3.5 months. So it kind of hit me. I was like, dang, what do I do with my time? I remember like my first off season, I sat in my house for like 2 days, probably 2-3 days. I just sat and watched reality TV. I was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, all right, let me get up and do something. But I just started traveling, going different places. I was having fun. But it was an experience, man. Looking back, just being in a whole different space. Um, it's a journey. It's a journey, to be 22 years old and you got a few $100,000 in your pocket. And I mean, just thank God I had the control to not spend my money, like crazy. I had a good support system at home. And I mean, I'm really glad that I was in Tennessee and I didn't go to like a, far away place. I think that kind of helped me be grounded because, at every home game, my parents or somebody was up, with me at the game. So I thought it was really good. And I'm glad that, God put me in, right down the street from my parents' house, 2 hours. So, but it was experience, man. I mean, we didn't start out with the success that I wanted, at the Titans the first 2 years, but, my last 2 years, we started to build it. And my last year, we went to the playoffs. And, it was fun. I lived out, dreams. Like I've watched the playoffs, growing up as a kid. And, I'm sitting here playing. One thing we played trying to think who we played first. Oh, yeah, the Chiefs. We played the Chiefs first game. And, it's something spectacular. I look back on it, memories I will never forget. Getting to play Tom Brady in the playoffs, second round. That's a moment. That's a moment. But overall, it was a hell of an experience. Hell of an experience, to say the least.
So you're currently not on a roster, but you're not
Yeah,
retired yet.
not retired.
You're you're 30 years old and still looking for an opportunity. And you know the way NFL is, you could always get an opportunity any week. If somebody
Never know.
goes down and they need a linebacker, there you go.
I get a call tomorrow when I'm at the game.
Yeah, could very well be.
Yeah.
So here's something I want to ask you about because I haven't ever gotten to talk to an NFL player one on one. Well, I talked to one, but it was a punter, so he doesn't count. I'm just kidding. But
Specialist.
tell me about draft night. What was draft night? Where did you watch the draft at? Was you there? Was you watching it at home with the family? And what was it like to hear your name? Because you were in the fifth round, so that's second day, right?
Third day.
Third day.
So I was back home in Milan, Tennessee, and had all my family. Everybody came in town. We had a cookout. We cooked out pretty much the whole weekend. Everybody was just chilling. I thought I was gonna go on the second day, and I was upset. I thought I could go second round, second or third round. I thought I was gonna go, but didn't get my name called. So that third day, I'm waking up like, all right, this is the day. And we had rented out a building, in town, and crazy enough, the TV wasn't working. So TV wasn't working. We already rented out the building. So, we weren't going to move. So I just was keeping up with everything on my phone. And a funny moment that happened at the party. So I was just sitting there, just, chilling out with my family. I was right beside my dad, and I get a phone call. It's a number that I don't know. And I missed it. And I'm looking at my dad. I said, "Hey, Dad." I said, "Hey, I missed the call." He said, "Well, shit, you better call it back." And call it back. Hello? Hey, cuz, how you doing? I just, checking in with you. I'm like, "Hey, Nicole," I'm like, damn, I thought this was the team calling. And I was so upset. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm get off the phone, and I was like, dang, I thought, I'm thinking I'm getting drafted. It was my cousin Nicole. But ended up getting drafted in the fifth round. Titans called me up, and I definitely was not expecting to get drafted by the Titans. It's 2 hours down the road, and got the call, and lady answered. I was like, hello, and she's like, yeah, this is Tennessee Titans, and it's Avery Williamson. I was like, yep, this is him. And said, yeah, well, we selected you, and because of course I did not see my name on the TV
Right.
because the TV wasn't working. So, but getting that call was crazy, and everybody was like, shh, like, be quiet. I was like, Titans. And it was one of the moments that I'll never forget. It was just joy. Like, I got drafted. I knew it was gonna happen, but it's like one of those things that it's like, will it happen? Or, it's kind of like one of those surreal moments. And, everybody was, excited. It was really fun, looking back and just seeing those moments is priceless. And I'm glad I got to experience that with my family. And the next day I drove to Nashville and got started.
So when you get drafted in the fourth, fifth round, nothing's guaranteed. You don't have guaranteed money. You got to go in there and earn your spot. What was your attitude like going in there? I mean, how much did you know about who they already had on the roster? Did you know anything? Did you do any kind of research, or did you just go in there blind and say, I'm just going to go in and give it everything I got?
Yeah, I knew nothing. Only person I really knew was Wesley Woodyard. He was on the team, and he actually called me up as soon as I got drafted. He was telling me, hey, let's get ready to go to work. And that's my brother, like, to this day. And because I had taken a visit to the Titans, and I had really didn't know him, but I got to meet him and stuff. And so it was really good, and it's crazy that I ended up getting drafted by them. But I'm trying to think of the question you asked me now. I went blank.
No, I was just asking. And
Oh,
Wesley Woodyard, of course, was
yeah,
former Kentucky and also played many great years for Denver and played for Tennessee.
yeah. Well, I didn't know anybody on the team. So I was going there as like blank slate, just trying to like learn the ropes, trying to earn a spot. Nothing's guaranteed. I think actually, I did have like a little bit of guaranteed money. They give you like a little bit of guaranteed money, but it's not much. But
Right.
but yeah, yeah, you fit fourth round and on. It's kind of just like rolling the dice. You might get cut. You just never can tell. So thankfully, I made the team. They saw something that they liked, and first first week, I guess we can roll into this. Yeah, I was week one. We're going into practice. We're playing the Chiefs, and I was late to a meeting my first day, and I don't know how I got the times confused, but I ended up late. I was late to an early meeting. We had a linebacker meeting that was early, and I'm walking in just cool, calm, collective, and my linebacker coach, he's like, "What the F are you doing? You supposed to be here?" I was like, "Coach, I didn't know." He's like, "Yeah, you're supposed to be here early." And like first day of my career, late. So that wasn't the best week for me, and funny because one of the starters ended up getting hurt that week. First, it was like the fourth play of the game. He ends up tearing his pec, and coach didn't put me in the game because I wasn't ready. And that was the week of practice, and it kind of hit me. I was like, well, damn, I might have missed my opportunity. They put another guy in, the second string guy. They put him in, and he did okay. We ended up winning the game, but that kind of resonated in me. I was like, man, I wonder if I just missed my opportunity, to get on the field and play. And from that moment, I was like, hey, let's be professional, get a schedule down, kind of figure out what I need to do to have a productive week of practice and then get on the field. And I started doing that. The next week I started doing some. Well, I was playing special teams already, but we played the Cowboys. The next week got smacked, and then the next week I think we played the Bengals, and they start. Coach told me during the national anthem, he told me, he said, "Hey, Avery, I'm getting you some snaps today." I was like, "What?" And I didn't even know I didn't know I was going to play. And he told me that before the game. I was like, "All right, let's go, Avery." And I had a couple of friends at the game and stuff, and I ended up having a great game. Had like a TFL, had like 7 or 8 tackles. And then the next week, they rotated me in more. And then week 5, I was starting against the Browns and just never looked back. But just took advantage of the opportunity and, just had to make sure I was being a professional.
Well, thus far, you've had a very productive career. You've had over 600 tackles, over 15 sacks, I think 5 forced fumbles, 3 recovered fumbles, and I believe 4 interceptions. So not bad for roughly 6 years.
Yeah, not bad, man. So I mean, that was 6 years of playing because I was hurt one year, and then my last year I was kind of just bouncing around, didn't play much. So hey, I did pretty damn good.
So let's talk about your time with the Jets because you suffered a knee injury,
Yeah.
and tell me a little bit about how you had to deal with the injury and something because I think you've done pretty well injury wise up to that point, and then that hits and that's basically a season ending injury. Tell me a little bit about your whole thought process during that.
Yeah, man, I was in a whole different space when that happened. We went through a coaching change. I came off an amazing season. Really, it was my best season in my career, and I'm gearing up for another good one. Coaching staff was kind of funny on me, and it happened in a preseason game. Really, I wasn't even supposed to be playing. They put me back in there, and it happened. It just happened like out of nowhere. Guy dove and jumped into my knee, my own teammate. And it was a crazy moment because I just didn't expect that. Never been hurt before of that anything that's serious, and that put me in a space. I was just like, I feel like I was lost, because you're going from being the man, then you're on the sideline, and you really get forgotten about when you're going through rehab, because the team has to worry about everything else is going on. So I was alone, especially I was up in Jersey, so I didn't have any family. So it was tough. But I just, I was like, well, let me dig myself out of this hole because I remember I was sitting on the couch the week it happened. The week it happened on like I don't know, a Thursday, and then that next week I'm watching the preseason. And I actually know when it happened, like the next day or so. I was sitting in the dark, man, just zoned out, wasn't eating, and I'm Randall Cobb. he had reached out to me, telling me that, sorry about everything. He was texting me, he's like, hey, I know you in the dark right now. And I was like, it felt like he was in the room. And he was like, kept telling me, like, turn the lights on, get up, just get yourself going. And it helped me out. And I just kind of get out of space. I try to get out of a space that I wasn't used to. And, I was really down. And I got myself up, ended up having my surgery like 2 weeks later. And, I'm starting to rehab. And I was like, dang, what can I do to kind of still be involved? I had things going. I really had an amazing year that summer. I came back, got my degree. I was starting a new show. It was called Adventures with Avery. It's me going around doing different things around New York City. I had amazing off season. I was in really good shape. I'm gearing up for a good season.
Hey, let me stop you there because I want to touch on something that I think is important. And I love to see this. You left college in 2014 to go to the draft.
Mm-hmm.
You've had a successful NFL career. You've made some money. You've had some decent contracts after your initial, but yet you still in the midst of your greatest NFL playing time, you come back to the University of Kentucky and finish your degree. And that's very commendable. And I would think, coming from my place, if I was in that same situation, I would have a hard time going back and taking classes. I just would.
It was humbling because I'm sitting in the classroom with all these young kids, and I gotta like take tests and stuff. I'm like, I'm making more money to teach. Like, I don't have to listen to her, you know what I'm saying? But it was good though. My parents were on me about going back, and a couple people on the staff, and I was like, I'm gonna go back and get it. I feel like I hit my landmark of getting my second deal, and I was like, you know what, I need to go back, go in and get it, and nip it in the bud. And I'm glad I did. Very glad I did.
Well, I totally respect that, and I wanted people to hear that because that's important for people to know that it's never too late to come back and do something, and also not to look a gift horse in the mouth. You had that opportunity, even though you may not have needed that right now in life. You were looking ahead, and I think that's important.
I mean, yeah, I honestly, if I didn't get pushed to do it, I may not have done it. So people held me accountable. So I'll probably be back now trying to get my degree. So I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad I did what I did. But yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So you were in the middle of talking about you had just started doing like a little series or something.
Yeah. I was doing my Adventures with Avery. I was on top of the world, and then the injury happened, and that just took the wind out of my sail. So I was like, what can I do to still have fun and stuff? And I came up with the idea of taking. I was like, let me take a picture of my helmet in bed, and it just, everybody's like, yo, they thought it was the funniest thing. I didn't think it was gonna be that, but it just kind of steamrolled the idea, and I was like, man, why don't I just do something every week? And it turned into a thing where like the New Yorkers were like, the Jets fans were like looking to see what the hell I was gonna do. Each week I took a picture back home in my high school classroom with some kids I knew. I did a subway. I was on the subway one time. I was in the grocery store. I just doing different stuff. And one time I was on the toilet. It was just random stuff, but like it was so funny. And I just kind of turned something bad into something good. And I mean, I'm sure that the people in the front office, they probably was like, this dude's making all this money, and he's going around having a good time. I mean, it's like, well, you know what? Y'all the reason I got hurt. It is what it is. I'm gonna have fun. But
well, let's be honest. That was probably more entertaining than the Jets were that year. So
It was. They sucked. I was glad I wasn't out there. It was bad. And then the next year I got halfway. I was like, thank you, Jesus. But yeah, hey, depression is real. I went through that with I went through that heavy because I mean, just the pain of going through therapy. My knee was stiff. You know, the team was upset because they wanted to go back in. They were upset because I didn't use a team doctor. You know, so it was like kind of like a whole lot of factors and things that went along with it. And I could just tell that they really weren't on my side at one point. So that's how I ended up getting traded the next year. But, you know, at the end of the day, I pushed through it. But yeah, it ended up good in the end.
So tell me the story. Like you said, you were doing all this cool stuff and posting these videos, and people loved it. But you said you just glossed over this. You said one time I was on the subway, but there's
Yeah.
way more to that
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Tell the story you told this morning about literally about putting the pads on out on the street and all that.
Yeah, man. I had just left an event and we had already planned it, that what I was gonna do. And so it was me and my marketing agent. I don't know if it's somebody else or not, I can't remember, but we had the car service. So we just pulled up to one subway station in Manhattan, and I was like putting my pads on in the car. I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I'm about to do this. You know, I just wondering how people gonna react. And we start walking down, and we start walking down the stairs. It's a big train station. This is a real big train station. So I'm like, oh shit. So I'm embarrassed, but people like literally weren't even paying attention. Like it was only one. I saw one person look at me. They looked at me and they looked at their phones to see if like I think they were googling like seeing if number 54 that was actual player. And then another guy was like, "Yo, you play for the Jets?" I was like, "Nah, I don't play for the Jets." And and then we got on the subway and we went a couple blocks, and nobody really even paid much attention at all. And the only woman that really paid me attention was the woman that looked at me sideways when I asked her how her day was, and she looked at me like I was crazy, and she wanted to scratch my face. I was like, okay, excuse me, but sorry for trying to check on you, see how your day was going. But yeah, it was funny when I posted that picture. People were like, "You were on a damn subway?" I was like, "Yeah, I was really on the subway." But
Did you have helmet on as well?
I am, but yeah, I had everything except for like, man, it was so funny, I know that uh, I know the organization's like, this dude is a damn idiot. You know, he's making $8 million, and they were pissed because I was hurt, but it was their fault. And but I was having fun with it. I was like, oh well, like I'm still gonna have fun. Like it is what it is.
So that brings me to the next thing, and this is the main reason I wanted to have you on. We had a conversation earlier today, and I told you you are a super positive person, and I got to see you today just be you. And it was you were on a radio show that we were attended a live event that they had in person, and you were so funny. Just the stories you told, just the natural you, and I was like, I can tell, even though I don't know you, I could tell what type of person you were by that 15 minutes that I saw you.
Yeah,
And I was like, I want to bring this guy on the show because I think people will really enjoy some of these stories he's got to tell, because
yeah,
you come across, you got one of these smiles that, I mean, it's just like it's just literally like a cliche, brightens a room. And I couldn't, you smiled and I would smile even if there wasn't anything to smile about, just because you were smiling. It's contagious.
thank you.
And I was excited to bring you on. Now, here's one of the reasons besides that I want to bring you on. You started doing something much like you were doing in New York during
Yeah,
your injury. You're having fun again and you're putting it on
yeah,
video.
yeah,
And tell me a little bit about this venture and how people can check out the two videos that are up so far, but many more
yeah,
to follow.
yeah. Man, if you really want to go deep into it, man, it's like um, tough times. You know, is doing something your whole life, and then it gets cut off. Like you know, football has been my everything. So last year I struggled with, you know, I didn't Didn't get on the team until October. A lot of uncertainty. My girlfriend, she got pregnant. You know, first time living. Like we moved in, and she gets pregnant in April. So I'm trying to deal with a pregnant girlfriend, and I don't have a job. Um, it just was like everything was like just kind of weird. It was super weird, and I finally got picked up. I got picked up on practice squad. You know, the Broncos. Um, I was there for a week, and then I ended up going signing with the Titans. The Titans signed me. I'm like, hey, I'm going back to the Titans. I'm getting my opportunity. I'm probably retire here and finish out my career. I was there 3 weeks, barely even played. Didn't play any defense. They cut me after 3 weeks. I go back to practice squad on the Broncos. I'm just pissed off. I'm mad, and I'm just questioning everything. What's going on? Is my career over with? And I was there for like 6 more weeks, and I was so upset. I just ended up walking off the field one day during it was we were warming up for practice. I just walked off the field. I was like, I called the GM. I was like, hey, come to the locker room. We gotta talk. I'm done with this shit. I'm like, it's not me. And I told him I was like, I was upset. I'm not a practice squad player. I'd rather just go home. It's like my girlfriend, she's about to give birth. I just, I don't want to miss that for this. And it just kind of fast forward to I have my son. He's here, and we get to March free agency. I'm still not on the team. April, not on the team. May, we're going all the way up to now. It's like I'm like, damn, I'm trying to figure out life. I've never been, I guess you could say, a normal citizen. They put us in a different category, athletes. So I've never been a 9-to-5er. Don't know what the hell to do. I'm trying to figure out what can I do. I'm kind of, yeah, I have money, but you feel desperate to do something.
Yeah.
And trying different things, stuff failing. I'm losing money trying to gamble on different things and doing stupid stuff. And it's just I just kind of figured something out. Me and my marketing agent were talking, and we were like, man, what can I do? I'm like, I want to get involved. I want to do something where I can travel. And we kind of like started talking about doing the adventures with Avery, picking that back up. And then we circled to doing a show with like me going around the games. I was like, dang, what if I do that? We kind of started snowball effect. We kind of started thinking more ideas. And that was in July. That was in July, probably early August. And that's when I was like, let's do this. This is a real thing. Let's go around, and I want to go around and just try food, drinks, with people, just kind of see what it's like to tailgate. And I ended up finding the good camera crew that I wanted. And I was like, let's just try it. I was like, I want to see how it's gonna go. So we did the Dolphins preseason game. Just went out on a limb, like literally hopped out the car, and I started chugging a beer with these Raiders fans, and it just unnatural. I just go around just talking to people, and after that, I was like, this is fun. Like this is real fun. And the next week we went to the Miami Hurricanes open, and then we went to UK Florida game. Then we went to Auburn, Penn State. We did Tampa Bay, Green Bay. We did Tennessee State University versus Bethune-Cookman in Nashville, and then now we're here, Kentucky, Mississippi State. So I was like, man, I think that sitting around, it blossomed this idea, and I'm like, dude, it's got to be, this is it. I was like, this is it. And I was like, well, I missed the wave to get hired for a network. So I'm not going to get hired for a network this year. So how about I just create my own show? And I was like, I don't want to sit around. So I was like, let's just take off with it and see what happens. So I think I was like, man, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to just be natural, interviewing people. And I was like, why not create my own thing? And I honestly, man, I've been happy with it. It's a joy to like get out and just be able to be amongst people. It sucks not being able to play ball, but I feel like, I mean, it's something that can still give me joy. Like I'm look forward to like hey, Saturday, what am I doing? I'm going to this game. I'm going to that game. I'm about to meet these fans. It's just like it's always just meeting people, talking to people, and I've really I've really gotten to that point now where I'm getting better mentally, you know, because man, sitting around is tough, and the idle mind is not good. And I definitely dealt with some things with just like depression, you know, and they say guys go through it when they're done, but you don't think that you'll go through it, but like you go through it and people don't understand, you know. Like I don't understand how you went through your situation. I would look at you like you're crazy. And people look at me like you got millions of dollars in the bank. You know, why are you not happy? You know, enjoy life. But when the person's not doing something they love and they don't know how to deal with emotions, it can be tough. It can be really tough, and something you don't understand till you really go through it. So I definitely say like Tailgate 54, like it's really like brought me out of a dark space, and I feel like it's just God putting the idea in my head, and you know football. I feel like football was kind of cut off for me because he's wanted to do something greater for me. So I'm like, hey, we're just gonna see where this show's gonna take me. So, hey, I have a blast going around meeting different people, you know, trying food, you know, having beers, you know what I'm saying? Just it's fun, it's natural, and like I, I think it's I think it's a new career that is just getting started for me.
Well, guys, I can tell you for a fact that the videos are fun. The ones I've seen are fun. I think you'll enjoy it. But if he's going to make a run at this to make money off YouTube, and we've discussed this openly on the air with our YouTube channel, you got to have at least 1,000 subscribers to even start, and then you got to have so many hours. It's technical, but
Yeah,
go to YouTube, even if you got to pause the podcast right now, and just go to YouTube and you want to subscribe to this podcast. It's Tailgate 54.
yes,
Go
sir.
subscribe, start watching videos because you don't can't just subscribe and make it work. You got to subscribe and watch the videos so they can get that time in on it. I promise you, you'll be entertained.
I appreciate that for real. Like that's cool. I was so excited with Matt when he shouted me out there. I'm like, dude, I'm getting subscribers. Like, it's cool, I'm thankful, man. Just I feel like God puts people in people's lives, you know, just to for reasons, you know, that we don't know at the moment, but you know, we'll figure it out later sometimes. But now I'm just glad I could be on the show, you know, and maybe my message might help somebody else because it was I already knew what I was gonna talk about when you gave me your card. I was like, oh, depression, you know what I'm saying, this and that. Like I was like, yeah, I can give a couple messages. So I'm definitely I hope my message will help somebody out because no matter who you are, how much money you got, fame, fortune, everybody is a person. Everybody has emotions, and they go through it. And whether you pray to God or you know talking to somebody, just make sure you just just try to be positive and try to bring positivity to your life, and you'll get through it.
And making yourself get up and get out of a dark place has
Yeah.
more than one meaning.
Yes, it does. It definitely does.
I got two quick questions before we end this thing.
All right.
First of all, how did you end up with number 54 in the pros? Because you were number 40 in college, if I remember correctly.
Sir. Well, I wanted 59 because Danny was 59 and Dan Trevathan. And so I got to the Titans and Wesley, he had 59. So I was like, well, shoot, let me see what's available. And ended up just getting 54. I was like, well, it's my number. Just stick with it.
Nice. Now, obviously, this is a paranormal show. Have you ever had a paranormal encounter or something you think might have been a paranormal encounter?
Uh, I have not, man. Um, I mean, you know, you have the moments where you think you see something out of the corner of your eye or something like that, but I do believe in that stuff. I believe in it. I'll tell you a story though. I'm getting
All
chills now.
right.
I think so it was one of my older cousins. She's dead now. But she was telling me about me and my dad were over her house and she was telling us about when, you know, her dad when he had passed and stuff. So He had died, and she said she came home from school one day, and he always loved to shoot marbles. He always was shooting marbles and stuff, and he had passed away. She came home from school, and she walked in the house, and she said that she heard marbles rolling around in the back room, in her parents' room, and she stood there and she heard marbles moving, and she said, "Dad, it's okay. It's Claudette. It's me." And she said the marbles, she didn't hear anything. And she said she took the hell off running out the house. And she stayed there outside until her mom came home from work. And she said, "What are you doing outside this late?" She said, "Oh, no, just getting some air." And man, I tell you, I got chill bumps. She said she heard the marbles rolling. And she said, "Dad, it's me. It's Claudette." She said, it was silence. And she said that was her cue to go. But I heard it right from her mouth. So I never had a paranormal experience, but that was, yeah, I never forget that story. Like, and she lived in that house. That her parents, that was the same house. She still lived in that.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. You tell me a story. You had an experience?
Oh, dude, I got more experiences. Hell, I tell stories for 6 years on here. I'll tell you a recent one, though. I'll tell you a recent one. And this is one that most people listening to this haven't heard yet because it literally has been in the past week. I'll give you the condensed version. I've had history of having people pass away and having electronic devices go kind of crazy right before. So we'll go back 10 years ago. My wife and I were getting ready to go to Nashville, surprisingly enough. It was a Friday night. We went to bed around 9 o'clock. Now, we got woke up around 1 in the morning by a surround sound system in the very next room. Just came on. It was blaring with the DVD that was already in it. Just came on. It wouldn't turn off. I unplugged it. It never turned back on again. Find out 2 days later on Sunday, we're at the Opryland Hotel. And I get a call to say that one of my very best friends, it was his brother, he had passed away Friday night in a car accident during a bad storm at about 1 o'clock in the morning. Fast forward another year or so, television in our bedroom, same house, turned on by itself while we're sleeping, wakes us up. Both of us, my wife and I. Turn it off. Comes on again, turn it off again, comes on again. Now, this wasn't rapid fire. This was like 10, 15, 20 minutes in between. Comes on again. Eventually, I get up and unplug the television. Again, I unplug the device to get it to quit coming on. Next morning, I get a call from a former boss and says, "Hey, colleague of mine, former colleague that I loved, knew very well, he had passed away during the night." So now there's two different instances, and I wrote about that in my book.
That's
Now we're going
freaky.
to fast forward 10 years later. New house. I had just hooked up. I bought a new surround sound for my living room, and I took my old one and put it in the garage. It's not hooked up. It's been there for 2 months. I was trying to give it to people, and nobody I wanted to give it to wanted it for various reasons. And so I just hooked it up this past Thursday, so a week ago yesterday. I hook it up in my garage, got me a little exercise set up, little center set up, so it's right in front of my elliptical, and that way I can listen to it. I come down Monday morning, and I hear static, real loud static. Well, it's got an AM FM receiver on it, and there's no antenna on it. So this thing had turned itself on sometime during the night. I don't have no clue, but when I came down in the morning, it was on, and I could hear it because the garage is
Yeah,
attached to the house. So I go in there, I turn it off. Later that day, same thing, pops on by itself. This happened twice on Tuesday. So what did I do? I unplugged it because I don't know how to keep it from coming on. I get a call Thursday morning or Wednesday morning, I'm sorry, saying that a very good friend of mine that I used to do stand-up comedy, he was my mentor when I started. We did all kinds of shows together. He had passed away during the night. So there's three different stories of me having electrical devices kind of go haywire and then find out there's a death in the family. And that's one that I haven't told on the show yet because it literally just happened a couple of days ago.
yeah,
So
that's weird.
there's one.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
So,
I just reminded me of another story that actually, so it was when I was in Nashville. I had this girl over, we watching the movie, and it was a scary movie. And she ended up staying the night because I'm like, look, I'm not staying by myself after I watch a movie, scary movie. So we get in the bed, and I don't know, it was quiet. It was quiet, and all of a sudden, man, my bedroom door just closed, like out of nowhere. It's kind of slowly closed, and I didn't say shit. I was like, I just kind of like, all right, let's go to sleep. Let's go to sleep. And the next morning we woke up, I was like, hey, did you hear that door close last night? She's like, yeah, I heard it too. And we both didn't say a word. We did not say a word, man. Like, freaked out. So that was I guess my one paranormal experience.
It's funny. We've lived in this house for 6.5 years, and we've noticed a lot of weird things happening. We were in New Orleans one time for an event that we were doing, and my daughter was living with us at the time. And she called us telling us that the garage door was opening and closing on its own. So we had
Oh,
to have her unplug it so it wouldn't happen. And then we didn't have that problem again until like 3 years later. It started doing it again. So it's unplugged now because it would just open up when we wouldn't at the house, or it would open up, in the middle of the night.
yeah.
And then we would hear people just all over. It sounds like people upstairs. And we had a plumber come to the house yesterday, and he had said that he knew the previous people who lived here, and he asked us straight up, "You guys ever had any strange things happen in here?" Like, I mean, this is the plumber that we had met. And so he starts telling us about one time the former owner that lived here had him coming over to watch the dogs, and he came over and he could hear somebody moving around upstairs. And he had his gun, and he said he hollered up there and said, "You can either come down now or not come down at all." And he eventually went up there and he started clearing all the rooms and shutting the doors. And he said then there was the master bedroom. He heard them walk into the bathroom. So he goes in and there's nobody in the bathroom, nobody underneath the bed. And he said it just freaked him out to the
What?
point that, yeah.
Hell no. I'm Nah, yeah, I'm leaving.
That's what he did. He left right after that. And he said he didn't want to come back.
Oh, that's freaky. Yeah. Well, that's a hell of a story.
Avery, brother, I appreciate you coming on so much. You have no clue. It's been a big thrill for me to be able to talk to somebody that I've watched so many times over the years on television, and to finally get to meet you in person,
And
and then actually get you on the show, man. It's
I,
been surreal for me.
I appreciate it for it. It's awesome. I'm glad we could do it. So maybe we can do another one in the future.
Hey, I'm game. You'll get your show going big time, and then we'll get you back on, or maybe
Yeah,
we'll hook up at a tailgate out at UK.
exactly. I hope so.
All right, brother. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, my man. And you have